call it the fog of mediocrity. There's so much mediocre content out there, and it's so distracting. People have content fatigue. How do you cut through that noise? We're going to design a custom podcast funnel. All your tech and automations are going to be set up for you. All of your show assets and creative and show copy are going to be done for you. All of your calendars and emails and comms are set up and synced. There's a free course that comes with it. There's a free community that comes with it. If we could figure out a way to just do it for people for like less than $100.
All right. Welcome back, listener. Today, I have a very special guest on. This is Chad Durphy of Project Icon. Chad is a gentleman I have come to know in, the past 6 months now? We formed a good little relationship.
It's been about 6, yeah.
Yeah. Well, good to see you, man.
You too. Thank you.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how fast time flies.
Yeah, I know. It's already September. And of course, somebody listening to this is like, I have no concept of the date this was published, but
That's true.
Yeah.
Yesterday was my birthday, September 1st.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. How old are you? 28?
Yeah, pretty close. Yeah. 33. It's my 10th time celebrating 33.
Yeah. Nice. Excellent. Well, Chad, the first question that comes to my mind is why Project Icon? That's such a unique company name. I'm curious.
Yeah, so ICON stands for Industry Credibility, Outreach, and Networking. And one of our mantras here is, I should have worn the hat actually. It says it has it has influencer crossed out, and it has the greater sign and says influential.
Yeah.
And so for us, when we talk about becoming iconic, we don't mean it in the sense of being an influencer and it's more about how do you become the most impactful person in your network? How do we engineer public perception of your influence so much so that, what people see, what they perceive, they believe. And so how do we make sure that they perceive you as an industry expert and an icon in your space?
Yeah, that's powerful right there. And I think it directly relates to this little thing on my shirt here that says be known. What do you want to be known for? And how big do you want your impact radius to be? But also, Chad, this is something I talk about a lot. Don't fool yourself into thinking that you need to be bigger than you should be. Or there's also chapters of life, and not to be pessimistic, that's not what I'm getting at, but we need to be realistic with it while at the same time understanding that there is capacity to grow and learn, and a little bit of the law of the lid where your organization's only going to grow as big as or as large as the mindset, skill set, education of the founder. Anyway, sure. I'm jumping down a weird rabbit hole right now,
but I mean, I'm following with you.
Yeah. Well, Chad, you have something cool going on. And last we talked, you were head down in the bunker working on a secret project that truthfully I want to be a customer or client of, but I want to talk about it. It's something to do with podcasting, right? You've cracked the code on something cool.
It is. And let me give some context around this because we do more than podcasting. We have a publishing house where we publish books. We can get people on TV and get them documentaries. We can get them stages. There are certain elements to becoming influential and being perceived as an industry expert. And each one of those has its place. But really the quickest way to start and the easiest way to start is through long form content. With social media and the advent of AI, there's so much content out there right now. And, we call it the fog of mediocrity. There's so much mediocre content out there and it's so distracting. People have content fatigue. How do you cut through that noise and have people really see you for who you are and what you believe and what you stand for and really get on board with you? And long form content is the way to do that. And a podcast is just the easiest form of that because it can be repurposed in so many ways. And so we decided we wanted to create something that was easy for anybody to get into and grow at their own pace, whether they have a show or not, and what we realized was podcasting's been around for a long time. We all know about it. Everybody has wanted a podcast, maybe has had a podcast, maybe has thought about a podcast, maybe listens to podcasts. But anytime something's been around for long enough, you start to kind of hit this critical mass where it begins to get major momentum. And so podcasting has been growing and growing, but it's finally at a point where people are realizing they need long form content, and this is the quickest and easiest way to do it. And so we started seeing all these podcast ads, and we started seeing what people are doing, and they're charging $17 for this little checklist, and there's here's an ebook for $7, and here's a $10,000 coaching program that you just like dive straight into, that they're going to do some things. And we all of it was learn how to do it. And so what we thought to ourselves was, if we could figure out a way to just do it for people for like less than $100, then and show them how amazing it is, then they're probably going to love us and respect us and trust us, and they may want to work with us deeper levels. So
Yeah.
if we build
Wow.
a show for them and include everything that comes with it, then maybe they want our support in booking really high impact guests that they can help them monetize their show. Or maybe they want our support editing their episodes so they don't have to do all of that. Or perhaps they want our coaching and helping them with their lighting and their backdrops and
Yeah.
other elements that if they decided they wanted to move into those areas with us, they have that opportunity. And then from there, they can move into publishing a book and getting stages and other things. And so
Yeah.
for us, we wanted to provide something to people that they can't get anywhere else for a price that they can't get anywhere else, as a way to show them who we are and hopefully get them to work with us in other capacities.
Yeah. Wow. So just for my reference, $100, and that's nothing. I mean, I think about the other, one could say, competitors or the other podcast offers out there, and I have somebody sitting in my inbox right now that offers the same thing, but I know she charges $4,500 a month,
Yeah,
and
which
yeah.
is typical for that.
So what would I get, just for my reference? What, with $100, what would that be?
Yeah, so this eats Fiverr and everything else all day long. It's a big loser for us, to be honest with you. And occasionally we'll have people come in that they're happy with that, but we're going to design a custom podcast funnel. All your tech and automations are going to be set up for you. All of your show assets and creative and show copy are going to be done for you. All of your calendars and emails and comms are set up and synced. We create your interview scripts, your outreach strategies, your ideal guest generators. We provide a massive launch checklist that we work through with you. There's a free course that comes with it. There's a free community that comes with it. And so it's, you just think, website, graphics, pages, automations, emails, everything that you need to run a podcast is built for you in the way of the assets.
Yeah.
So it's not even something you could go to Fiverr and do for even close to what we're doing it for.
So are you writing unique copy for everybody, or these are custom graphics? Tell me about it.
So they are. So basically what we do is when somebody signs up and they purchase, then when they go to book their delivery call, which is when we actually deliver all the assets to them, we have them just submit certain things that we need to be able to build this. So we're going to have them submit a show title or a concept of a show title, or at the very least, kind of what they would like their show to be about. Some profile pictures, some fun images of them, some hex colors if they have any, or at least some ideas around it. And they can just say, be creative if we want to be creative. We'll have them put their social media links and, all the stuff that we need to actually customize and build a show. And then, their website. And then my team will basically go in there, and based on everything they submit, we're going to create all of their assets for them and deliver them on the delivery call, show them how it all works, have it all set up and synced. Obviously they're going to get revisions. Most people actually are really happy with what we build for them. It's every time I go to do one of these delivery calls, I'm just like, I'm blown away. I'm so excited to do it, because I'm like, this person is going to love this.
Oh, that's fascinating. So, listener, you probably understand this, but what Chad is saying, he's talking about a front end offer, and whether you are able to lose money on the front end or even break even, what Chad is doing is genius, because they are able to offer something of such high value, whether it's the perception of value, and then layered on top of that, it's also the fact that it is high value. Most people just give away the perception of, hey, it's high value. What
Yeah.
what they're doing is something that I haven't seen before. And not only is it that low cost, but also it is a done for you service that, Chad, I think you mentioned this before we hopped on, but you're ready to scale this thing,
Yeah,
right?
we've already started. And so
Tell me about it.
I mean, it's great. It's taken off quickly, and what we're starting to learn, and this is a lesson that is important. I think I didn't really get this from Hormozy necessarily. I remember Hormozy saying, "Give away all your best stuff for free, and let them trust you and build it." And I never
Yeah.
quite understood that, because I was like, there's a lot of people that are going to take free stuff and they're never going to be buyers because they don't really care, and then they're also not going to value it. But what we learned was, man, if we can get somebody who's willing to pay a little bit because they care and they want something, at least started, so there's a little bit of buy-in from them, then it's more likely that they're going to show up to the delivery call. They're not going to ghost us. My team's not doing work for no reason, right? Because we don't want a bunch of people coming in on a freebie, signing up for it, giving us their stuff. We build all this stuff, and then we never hear from them again. So
See
there
ya.
needs to be, yeah, there needs to be a little bit of buy-in, just enough for somebody to say, okay, I'm going to show up to that delivery call because I'm excited to get my podcast and all the assets that I can
Yeah.
use. But then what I've learned at least is, if you can wow somebody with the amount of value that you provide without even necessarily telling them what is all included. So like when we're scaling this and we're running ads and we're doing all those things, we're just saying a done for you podcast setup with a few things. We're holding back a lot of what we actually provide, because then when we get to the delivery call and we take them through this, 30-minute long show and tell of all the stuff that we've done for them and show them
Mm.
all the ways that they can use this. And it's such a wow experience for them that they just immediately trust us. They love us. The communication and conversation with our team, they're all real people that are talking with them and supporting them.
Yeah.
We really do want to help them get a great show launched, because if their show can launch and get momentum, then they're going to want us for other things. They're not going to want to be doing constant daily outreach on LinkedIn trying to get guests to show up on their podcast, and they don't even know if they're qualified as a guest or as a potential referral partner, as a potential client, or whatever
Yeah.
the end state is for you. So we have ways that we can, for cheaper than a quarter of the cost of a VA, do all the things that you don't want to do after the fact as well,
Yeah.
at scale. And so people already trust us because of what we've been able to do for them at such a low cost, that we can continue doing more for them at still a low cost, comparatively to
Yeah.
whatever. We were talking before this. A lot of podcast companies will sell their management services for $2,500 a month,
Hmm.
5,000 a month, or more. We're a tenth of that, and
Yeah.
and doing more. And so we've, but that it builds, right? Because if you can get into those things for cheaper and you get great results on it, now you have leftover funds to be able to put into your book, and you got leftover funds to be able to put into this thing, and now you're able to start to really build that icon status, which is our mission statement, is
Mm.
how can we make you the most impactful person in your space, in your network, in your arena, through the assets that we're able to build for you, and the way that you're able to get the exposure that you deserve and want and need and maybe don't have yet.
Yeah. So, can I ask a couple operational focus questions on
Sure,
that?
sure, sure.
Well, when I think about scaling something like that, obviously there's personnel involved.
Yep.
You can't just click a button and haha, ta-da, it's all built for you. But how many people do you have on the team right now?
We've got about 20, probably pretty soon to be 40.
Yeah.
But we've designed it really well. So the way that we've done it is, rather than paying hourly for everything,
Yeah.
we pay per project.
Okay.
And so we have a bench of designers, we have a bench of copywriters, we have a bench
Mhm.
of operational people, we have
Yeah.
a bench of certain people, and we know that every podcast that comes through that we build, that we know what their task is and how long it's going to take them, and there's a
Yeah.
certain price that we pay them for that. So
Okay.
this person is going to get this amount, this person is going to get this amount, and so we're able to understand at a macro level, here is how much we have to pay to build this,
Yeah.
and here is what we're going to lose on the front end. And then for our other services, whether it be our booking services, and we have a team for that is our outreach team that will identify who somebody's ideal guest client would be for their podcast, and our team will go out and we'll find them, we'll scrape it, we'll create all the copy, we'll do all the outreach, but we have a team for that.
Mm.
And they're getting a little bump based on who is getting booked on the show and how qualified they are as a guest. So it's all commission based, or all there's no hourly involved in it. So we
Gotcha.
can really scrape down what everything costs us at a
Yeah.
at a micro level, which then allows us to begin to scale it out accordingly.
Yeah. What are you using for project management?
So we started with Trello. We're in Monday, so
Yeah.
Monday's been the best for us as far as project management. I mean, we started on Excel sheets when we were doing it. We're like Excel sheets, and then to Trello, and then you can't Trello cards. Like moving those things around is a pain in the butt. And so Monday's great because at a glance you can do a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Oh, excellent. Yeah. So when you are paying your vendors, I'm sorry not to get too nitty gritty, but this
No, it's
this
good.
stuff fascinates me. When you're paying your vendors or your team, then how are you keeping track and making sure that how many podcasts they say they did was the actual number?
Yeah, so we have. So this is where it gets really fun. So we've incentivized speed and
Mm.
ambition, and so every time somebody purchases one of our $97 podcasts, let's say, it gets zapped into a Slack channel along with their assets that they've submit, and then the teams know at which stages in the process they are responsible for their particular job. But
Hmm.
let's say that there's a bench of 5 graphic designers that are responsible
Yeah.
at any particular time. They get to claim the podcast. So as soon as a podcast comes in, they can claim it immediately and they bank it. And then if they get it done within 24 hours, they get a little bonus on top of it. And so our really ambitious ones are in there. They're just claiming so they can go fast and make a little bit of a bonus. If somebody's a little bit busier over here, or they just don't feel like doing it, maybe they claim a little bit slower. And so we can track who's claimed what particular podcast, and then that graphic designer is in there doing
Yeah.
their best to like make this thing a standout. And it's all quality control checked by our leadership team as well. So every
Okay.
podcast before we get to a delivery call the day before, we do a quality control to make sure that everything's been tested and it's working and
Gotcha.
we're happy with the graphics.
Okay.
But we've gotten the best designers because they just get so much work through us
Yeah.
and they can claim at their own pace. And so
Excellent.
they can claim a job, they get paid for the job. If they do it in a certain time frame, they get paid a little bit more. So it
Yeah.
allows our really ambitious people to be able to come in there and it gives us speed and flexibility on the back end.
Last question on that. How are they claiming it technically?
So inside Slack, so something will
Okay.
get pinged into Slack, and then whoever and so there's different stages in the process, and so
Hmm.
as it graduates one stage, so
Yeah.
let's say that it graduates the graphic design stage, then it goes into the tech stage, and then the tech
Yeah.
team is there, and then from the tech stage into the copy stage, and then the copy team is there, and so each time it hits a different stage, it pings a different channel that has that team inside of it,
Cool.
and the first person to say, they'll just go reply to the ping and say, they'll put their name. This is mine. So they just reply to the zap into Slack. So that way
Oh,
we could go to
yeah.
any deal and we could see exactly who's claimed it all the way along the line, which also allows us to quality control our team.
Excellent. And then communication with the client. Are you using email? Are they inside of Slack, the client?
It depends, and so we have the free community, so that
Okay.
if they need some support, we do whatever we can inside the community. We do have a couple of additional packages that they can purchase from us, where maybe they're paying the $97 podcast and we're building everything for them, but there's still a number of podcast purgatory bottlenecks, we would call them, that people
Uh,
could run into if they don't have a
yeah.
little bit of support. So, getting your custom RSS feeds, figuring out how to sync there's certain things that you're going to have to do.
Yeah.
You're going to want to buy a domain for your podcast. And then, so there's like lots of little things that we can't do for people. We do
Yeah.
everything that we can. And then there's a little level up from that $97 that people can pay us, up to $500, let's say.
Okay.
And we will actually do this entire launch checklist for them. And so for 30 days, they basically get a 30-day launch guarantee where in 30
Hmm.
days, their podcast is live and they're getting their first interviews and our team is taking care of the whole thing with them. So if they do that or one of our higher packages, they get dropped right into a Slack channel with all of our team and they have access to all of us 24/7 because we're
Yeah.
in there with them getting this thing done. We have daily launch calls that they can join. They're like drop-in calls, so they can jump in, and we're going through every item on that checklist with them and make sure that they're doing it right and everything is done properly. So they have daily calls they can drop in. They have their Slack channel they can drop in. We have our communication team, like our support team is in there. So if there's any question that's been asked through like the chat or email, if it hasn't been responded to in 12 hours, then they're pinging a certain channel. So somebody's reaching out.
Yeah.
So as they get deeper with us, the level of support obviously increases.
Yeah. Yeah, makes sense.
Hey, Daniel Pope here. Real quick, I want to give you a huge thanks for listening. If you're enjoying it, I'd love it if you share with others. That's how I get the word out, by you sharing it with somebody that could really benefit from this. Now, I started this podcast to stand out above the noise, to give real growth tactics in a crazy world when others may give some misinformation or not cover everything you need to know. That's not my MO. My MO is being able to give back, being able to help others see what they actually need to do in order to grow. And that's why personally, my company, Be Known, we don't offer any courses or coaching programs. We're a done for you service provider because we know in this world, sometimes people just need a helping hand, a connected team, and an expert to be there every step of the way. So again, I really appreciate you listening, and talk to you soon.
I'm curious, what are some of the pain points that you see of, hey, I purchased the podcast, I purchased the build out, but what are the pain points and why are people upselling into the higher level packages?
So pain points, a lot of them are going to be soft skills. Like how do I interview somebody? How do I prepare somebody for an interview? How do I reach out to book somebody? The biggest pain point is how do I monetize my podcast? A lot of people that are doing podcasts, we're doing shows for three different types. We're doing shows for people that they just want to have fun. It's a lot of retarees that we're working with that they're boomers and they're like, I just want to talk to whoever will listen, and they're doing a podcast.
That's me. I just have fun.
Right? They're just going to have fun talking. We have other ones that they're doing it for content. All they care about is the long form content, the exposure, and the way that they can repurpose it. And then we have a big portion that want to monetize their show. They want to get clients from it. They want to get leads from it. They want to get referral relationships from it. A lot of them want to get sponsors and affiliate. And there's like 5 major ways that you can monetize a show. The problem with most people that have done podcasting is, and we see this every day, they come to us, they already have a podcast and they'll still pay for our $97 podcast. And then they'll come in and say, hey, I've done 50 episodes or I've done 80 or 100 plus episodes and I haven't made any money. What am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
That's the biggest bottleneck. Because you can't just talk to somebody and then turn off the lights and the recording and then try and sell them on your offer. Like you're going to go to Pritch Bro status. It's going to strip all your credibility. People are going to hate you. It's going to be really awkward. And that's what everybody's trying to do. Or they're hoping that leads will come from the content, which it's not going to happen that way either.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of little underlying strategies that need to be in place with the right processes to monetize. And if that's there, you can do it really quickly.
Yeah.
But that's a big bottleneck.
You've got me hooked. I'm very curious. We'll talk separately about that.
Yeah. Fair.
Yeah. Oh, gotcha. So, when I think about this, in my mind, there's a certain operational constraint, a ceiling, if you will, and that may be how many team members can I get on board? And not to be too nitty gritty with the operations, but again, this stuff fascinates me. But where do we source the people? And you don't have to give away that secret, but how quickly can we build the bench if we scale it up? And then on the other side of the coin, can we find enough people to come in and purchase this? And I guess the cash flow tolerance as well.
Yeah, cash flow is a big part of this.
Yeah. So any of those you want to speak to? I know 3 pathways.
No, it's good. I mean, the cash flow is why we went to the model that we did with the pay per result versus like an hourly, because we don't ever want to be in a spot where there's a lull and people are getting paid for not doing anything.
Yeah.
And with the amount of projects that we have and the way that we bonus, it works out great for them too.
Yeah.
But that saves us a lot on cash flow because we're not burning money unless something's actually getting done. So nobody's working unless somebody's purchased something versus in a lot of companies, nobody's working because nobody's purchased anything, but you're still paying out hourly and you're burning money. So the cash
worse
flow,
yet, retainer, flat rate, full time.
Same. Which is just as bad. And so and we used to do that. We used to do that with a lot of people, and we still have a couple employees on the team that have that, and we're slowly working on, transitioning them into something that's going to be more beneficial for them in the long run.
Okay.
Because of the amount of work that they're doing, but we got to get them out of the security mindset and into the, you're going to make more money mindset actually.
Yeah.
But that's always going to be, cash flow is always going to be a factor. As far as where we find people, we've actually done really good with referrals from our current employees. And so one of the things that we'll do is most of our employees are in groups of other experts who do what they do. They have friends who are other experts that do what they do.
Yeah.
And we'll do like a little internal employee referral program where, on the graphic design side or the copy side or other things like that, there's a little referral bonus when somebody comes on. On the sales side, there's little overrides. If our sales team is referring somebody in, then they're responsible for training the person and, making sure that they grow. But they're getting a little bit of an override on that initially until that person becomes more of a senior salesperson.
Yeah.
So we're able to subsidize the override in a lower commission for a junior salesperson. So they come in at a little bit lower commission. Once they've worked with enough people and have enough experience on what they do, they can graduate to a senior. And this person, if they bring in a friend, they get overrides on that friend until that friend graduates. So we've been able to grow really well that way.
Yeah.
Outside of that, Upwork, Fiverr doesn't really let you give emails anymore, but people have still found a really creative way around that. So they'll send zip files or different things. And so, if we got somebody really good on Fiverr, we'll make a comment about like, hey, get me your contact information in a zip file or however you want to send that. And they'll find a creative way to get it over to you. So we still find people through that. And then we'll go into Facebook groups, so we found this one mom's Facebook group that has a bunch of moms that have, they've been in all different parts of life and all different parts of business, but they have babies. And so they, they left their jobs and now they want to get back into the workforce and they're having difficulty with it. And we found some amazing, like our customer service and client success come out of that mom's group. They're basically like company moms. Like when our clients come in, if there's a fire, they're like, we got to fix this. Yeah. Because they got kind of that mom mentality.
That's great.
Which has been good and bad as a leadership team. So.
Yeah. So we talked earlier offline about advertising, paid advertising. Sure. And I'd love to hear, if you want to share just your forecast from now till the end of the year. And again, the listeners like, what? It's September 2nd, 2025. So from today until the end of the year, are you trying to scale up rapidly? What are you spending on ads if you don't mind sharing?
More than rapidly. We found a winning offer. Every single person who's come in and been a client of ours, 80% of them upsell into another service or product because it fits their budget and it's something that they wanted to do.
Yeah.
Over 50% of them are already referring people. And so I don't think we've had a single person come in the last 2 months since we've been running this that hasn't at least asked, for our affiliate program or something of that sort.
Incredible.
It's really cool. It's the first offer in my life I've ever had where it's been that well received.
How does that make you feel?
It's honestly, it's cool because I feel like I'm actually like helping people. I'm not just like selling something that's making money, which is great, but like people actually love what we're doing for them. And it's even though coaching and other things can help people, and lead gen and all these other things that I've been involved in, it's easy for people to like not enjoy it, or if they don't get a result for a certain amount of time, they're like, this isn't working and they're ready to jump ship and they're not happy. What's cool about this is like they're getting results immediately. And it's whether it be visually from the graphics that they just got or the assets or getting their show launched so every step of the way, it's just like there's continuous like endorphin hits where people are like, oh this is great. So what we've kind of found is most people are sending into other offers that we have, and this is early on. But just for numbers, the average $97 sell that we have for a podcast on the back end across the board is worth approximately $1,900 for us in total revenue.
Hold on, I'm going to do the math on that bad boy. Jeez, I can't even imagine your customer acquisition cost, but let's just say it's break even. Customer acquisition cost from paid ads is break even. So 1,900 divided by 97, it's a 20x ROAS.
Yeah,
that's stupid good.
So now here's the next calculation I want you to do. And so just so if anybody that knows, and I'll tell you kind of what our projections are, because we want to be the industry king. We're coming out strong, and we're doing what other companies can't or won't do for the cost that we're doing it for. And then our monthly services for booking and editing and management, all those other things are still like an eighth of what other companies are charging, but we can get such a volume because we got such a good team. Our goal number of sales per day is 11. So 11 sales per day right now in the next month. And then if we were able to get 11 sales per day for 365 days, so you just do 11 times 365, which by the way, this is not going to be that difficult. We're almost there already.
4,015.
Now multiply that by our average client value of 1,900.
We've got $7,628,500 US dollars.
Cool. So here's the crazy part. You ready for this one? That's with 1 month of our $500 a month services for booking, editing, syndication, everything else. So let's just say our churn was 2 months instead of one. Then that's going to be 2,400. Let's say our churn is 6. Then our average value per client is going to be, say, 4,500. And then you multiply that.
Yeah, it's 18 million. Yeah, so you found a winning offer, haven't you?
Yeah, when it pencils because the people that are paying us monthly, they're cash flowing. So they're using their podcast to basically cover all the expenses and more and grow it. And so when you have a cash flowing asset, which is their podcast, or a soon to be cash flowing asset, then it doesn't make any sense for you to go out and try and, book people by yourself or do all your own editing or do all these other things because you're cash flowing. And now you can spend your time on the actual business and building your business versus trying to manage a podcast, which is one probably element of your revenue.
Yeah. Oh, that is excellent. Thank you for peeling back the curtain on some of the numbers there. I'm curious, how big is your media buying team, or for the listener, paid advertising?
It's a good question. They're actually a client of ours. So they're one of our best clients so they blew it out of the water with their podcast. They went from, I think it was 10 clients a month in their retainer for their paid advertising to now over 130. And they have a wait list that all came through their podcast that we built for them. And so since they know our offer so well, we reached out to them and said, hey, would you support us with our scale? Yeah. And they took one company from doing $4,000 a month in ad spend to over $1 million a month in ad spend in 8 months. So our method is called Blitzkrieg. It's like the German word for overwhelm with force, I believe. And so that's kind of where we're at right now on our scale, where we're in that phase. And I think we have the right team to do that with ads so far.
Chad, the last question that comes to mind here before we land the plane is, what is your mindset when it comes to scale? Because when some people start hearing, okay, 18 million potential gross revenue, but I've got to blitzkrieg my ad spend. I've got to crank it up to $1 million. Like, you know what most people think. It's a little scary. So how do you keep a rock solid mindset with this model?
This is, I'll be honest, this is new for me too. And it's new for my partners. We've been in this position before where we've been on the precipice of catching a wave, and we let fear and a little bit of being too conservative keep us from paddling into it the way that we needed to and as aggressively as we needed to. And so this has been a topic of a discussion between us this last month where we liken it to anybody that's ever surfed. And, you've got this beautiful wave coming, and people that haven't surfed, and I'm not saying that I'm good at it because I'm not, I really suck at surfing, but I like really, really bad. But I'm bad because I never learned how aggressively I had to paddle to actually catch the wave. Yeah. And so I would miss it almost every time. Or, I would hit the crest and I would just get, toppled. And so what we realized is if we're going to catch a wave that in like the types of waves that you want to see in business where you scale, you've got to be aggressive, more so than you think you need to be. And you got to go faster than you think you need to be. And so, for us, it's scary. We feel like we have a pretty good grasp on what we need to do. But, we kind of created a chart where it's like, we created a scale method where every week we're going to look at what our ROAS is, and whatever that return on investment is, that is our goal additional spend the next week. So let's say that we have a 5X, let's say we're spending 2,000 this week in ads, and we have a 5X ROAS this week. Well, next week, then we're going to add, we're going to take that to 10,000. So we're going to 5X it.
Okay.
That would be the idea. Now, granted, Facebook is going to take that and waste a lot of money because it's kind of against their stuff. So rather than scaling vertically, we're going to scale horizontally across ads and across platforms. So that 5,000 may not all be on Facebook. It's going to be across platforms, ideally. But then what we have to factor in, which, by the way, that's the goal. So the goal would be whatever the return is, scale up that much the next week. If the week after that, it's only 2x because our cost per acquisition skyrocketed with the additional spend, then we're going to just 2x that. So instead of 10,000, it's going to, or, it'll be 20,000 the next week. So you still double from 10 to 20, but you're just doing it at a rate of 2x versus 5x, so we're not going from 10,000 to 50,000 if our return is only 2x. But then we have to account for cash flow. And so let's say that we wanted to scale up to the 10,000 next week to 5x to match our ROAS, but our cash flow only allows for, say, 50% of that. So then what we have to say is, okay, well, that's the goal, but our cash flow isn't going to allow that yet. And so we're going to do an additional 5 as opposed to the 10. So that's kind of our scale map right now. We have what is the current last week's return on investment. That's the goal, additional spend. But now we have to add in the variable of cash flow. And what does that actually allow for? Hopefully it allows for the same. If you get going really well, it will. But maybe initially it's a little bit less than that. So, so that difference is what we're scaling up.
Excellent. Well, thank you for that breakdown.
Yeah. I mean, that's, so $1 million in ad spend, I would love to get to that because that means that at our current numbers, even if it was, a 5x versus the 20x that we have right now, $1 million a month means we're making $5 million in revenue. That's okay with me. It's 20%, 30% should be your marketing budget anyway.
Yeah. Listener, I laugh because it's not every day I see somebody who has caught lightning in a bottle with this amount of force. And Chad, man, I can't wait to see where this goes.
Hopefully it's not me electrocuted in the gutter under the bridge.
No, man,
lightning getting out of the bottle.
No, you're going to be Ben Franklin. You're going to be hey.
That's right, holding the kite.
Hey, discovered something shocking. So, with that being said, where can I learn more about this? Where can the listener learn more? But more importantly, where can I learn more about it?
Yeah, so that is a good question. We just updated our website. I think it is projecticon.com. Let me just make sure. Let's do this. I'll give it to you in the show notes because we just built a whole new website.
Okay.
So I'll give you everything that you need in the show notes. And then it's one of those things where whether it be through one of our landers or whether it be directly through the website or whether it be an introduction to me, I'll make sure you have all of that.
Excellent. Well, Chad, thanks a lot, man. It's good to see you, and happy birthday. Happy belated.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
You feeling younger? You ready to scale life and business? And
yes.
Great.
I'm feeling like it's finally time. I'm feeling that's if it doesn't happen now, it's not going to happen. That's the feeling right now. So there's definitely a sense of urgency, especially with my kids in high school. It's like, hey, it's got to happen.
Yeah. Well, good deal. Well, I'm sure it will, and I can't wait to watch your success. Thanks for coming on. We'll talk soon.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Hey there, Daniel Pope here again. I want to take a couple seconds to talk about my company, Be Known. Now, Be Known exists to be a done-for-you service provider for online-based businesses, coaches, and those that sell online courses and information products. We help them grow from 6 figures to 7 figures and then into 8 figures. We do this because there's so much misinformation out there. So many people just selling a course or just a coaching program over how to grow. Well, we're different in the fact that we actually do it with our clients. We take care of the advertising. We take care of the email marketing, the tech, all the tech. Yes, all the tech, the landing pages, the funnels, the growth strategies and tactics. So I think of ourselves as a expert implementation team plus a fractional CMO per se that guides you every step of the way. So if you've listened to this podcast or an episode and said, okay, that's great, but I don't really know how to do that, or I just need help. Well, that's why we exist. So I want to invite you to a call with me. A consultation where we can talk through your business, talk through what's going on, what challenges you have, what constraints, what bottlenecks, and figure out a path forward. If we're a mutual fit to work together, great. If not, no problem. We'll send you on your way with resources and stuff that can help you get up to speed quick. So again, I invite you to talk more with me, and that is beknownonline.com. beknownonline.com/start is where you'll go. And I cannot wait to talk to you. Again, if you enjoyed this podcast, I'd love it if you can share with some friends. Otherwise, I'm looking forward to your success. Take care.